This is every world record on Black Ops 1 Zombies for the highest rounds. Remember to stay till the end to see some of the most insane high rounds in COD Zombies history. Also, everyone in this video will be linked in the description below. It wouldn't be possible without these amazing zombie players, so make sure you go and check them out. Starting off with the best COD zombie map of all time, we have Kino der Toten, with the amazing world record of 240 by Sluya. Now this guy is absolutely insane. He invested 75 hours of his time into Kino der Toten, and honestly, those are some pretty good 75 hours invested. One of the most popular strats for progressing through the rounds in Kino is using this fire trap here. If you stand on this exact spot, all the zombies around you are gonna die. But this does take some skill to master. Goobers like me would instantly die. Unfortunately, his game doesn't end with a crash or a reset. It ends with a traditional doubt. He did his best to try and get out of that sticky situation, but overall, what an insane game. Congratulations, my man, and you are an absolute insane zombies player. Now moving on to the map with all the sauce, you have 5, with the world record of 241 by Germain. So if you thought Kino der Toten was a challenging map, let me tell you, this map can be a lot more unforgiving. You have this goober here taking your weapons, and it's just like, go away. But in all seriousness, obviously 5 is a lot more close quarters. The Wonder Weapon, the Winter's Howl, won't do anything on these higher rounds, unlike the Thunder Gun, where you can kind of use it to protect yourself, at least if you get cornered. And there's only 2 traps on this map as well. But having a deeper look into the strat, you can kind of see here, the traps here, you run the zombies through. This is the only way you're killing zombies on these higher rounds. And obviously having the crossbow pack-a-punch is always going to be used, is a very useful weapon to have on not just any map, but 5, a map where it's so close quarters. You know you're taking this guy with you. Anyway, what an insane run, and congratulations to Germain once again. Now moving on to Ascension, and even though the map's color palette isn't that great for obvious reasons, due to its locations and themes, it's not going to be a Revelations exactly. The map is a pretty fun map to high round, which Furt found out, funnily enough, by getting to round 244. In these older games, you get things called insta-kill rounds, where in certain rounds, zombies will have like no health. And it just means you can decimate them. So along with this and the Thunder Gun and traps, it's not the most painful experience to get to these higher rounds. Don't get me wrong, those monkeys that come and try and take your, your mule kick and your PhD, those guys aren't cool. But I'll tell you who is cool, Furret. Their game resets at 244. But a huge congratulations, and absolutely insane. Now moving on to one of the most famous maps for high rounds, and more known for not getting to high rounds. Call of the Dead is a map where it's so fun to play, but with its lack of traps and wonder weapons that kill infinitely, you're kind of stuck on these higher rounds with weapons that just do normal damage. But there has been new strats found to be able to push it to after round 100, with the world record of 105 by Prompt. And to be honest, you wouldn't have ever thought we'd see the day of a round 100 game in Call of the Dead, but anything's possible. And you might be thinking, how is it possible now after all these years? Well, in this spot right here with this barrier, essentially you want to try and keep the zombies outside the barrier as long as possible so that they despawn. These spawns will count towards kills to progress the rounds. So you're not using really any weapons or anything, you're just kind of, you're just playing the long game pretty much. But an absolutely insane game, and perhaps the most insane game of zombies ever played. Now moving on to the GOAT Shangri-La with the world record of 195 by Nestor53. We all know Shangri-La, we know it's a map that over time the community loves now. Well, maybe not love, but they like it. And we know it for being notorious for being a really hard map to train on because there's hardly any room. But the most skilled zombies players will master this, like Nestor here. And they've managed to use this to achieve the super impressive round 195. Training around the map with a combination of Semtexes and then obviously the baby gun. as you're seeing just here, in combination to kill the zombies relatively quickly. And this game ended up because he scared the zombies off. They stopped spawning in. So 65 hours of non-stop zombie killing, just for the zombies to be like, nah, actually I changed my mind, I'm not going to come back today. But a super impressive world record by Nestor53. And let's move on to Moon. Now for Moon, we have the world record of 233, achieved by Puerto Rico. Moon is a map I just don't like, man. Like, whether it's the BO3 version or the BO1 version, it's just too scary for my little brain to try and, do. But not for Puerto Rico. And with over 70 hours in game time, it looks like their game freezes. But the main strat you'll find with these high rounds for Moon will be in this room just here. Using insta-kill rounds, Gershes, wave guns, you name it. As you're seeing here, you can progress through the rounds pretty quickly. Anyway, one insane world record, and let's move on to the World at War maps. Now moving on to Nakjor and Chotin, we have the world record of 150. This was achieved by Hype, and honestly with this map, you have the Thunder Gun, and that about it. There's no Pack-a-Punch, there's no, perks, there's nothing like that, bar Mule Kick. Which in all regards, really isn't that much of a perk on a map like this. I can't imagine Nakjor and Toten's one of the most fun maps to high round due to, lack of, playstyles on the map. But that makes it even more impressive. Then moving on to Varuk with the world record of 208 by Nestor53 once again. Now obviously we know Varuk is one of the scariest maps in COD Zombies. But I would argue it's probably also one of the most difficult maps. Because again, you're pretty limited. It's like Nakjor and Toten, but I mean, you have the Winter's Howl. And that's not going to do really much for you. You do have traps, and if you are good at training on this map, you are pretty set. But needless to say, this map is still very challenging. And it's very easy to get cornered and trapped. And with over 83 hours of in-game time, that's a lot of time to spend on Varuk. Unfortunately, their game does reset to end this off. But what an amazing run. And then moving on to Shinonuma, which is, in World at War, obviously one of the easiest maps. And in Black Ops 1, it's definitely not as easy of a map to get to high rounds on. You don't have a lot of the benefits that you'd get in World at War. Like the zombie spawn cap, the, Wonder Wolf being able to drop drops. With the world record of 235 by Tails Can Fly. With over 97 hours in game. The strat for this map is using the Flogger in combination with the Wonder Wolf. Pretty self-explanatory, but an absolutely insane run. Then we have the GOAT, Sluya, once again with the world record of 250 on Doris. Now, Doris is obviously quite different on Black Ops 1 compared to World at War. You don't have the Wonder Wolf glitch. The zombies don't try and hug you and, just grab onto you and not let you go. And obviously you have quick revive on all these World at War maps, bar Nakjor and Toten, which makes it a little bit, more forgiving as well. But you can see Sluya didn't even use all his quick revives. He still has one left in the tank. But just like all great things, this run ended with a reset. But these are some absolutely insane world records. Make sure to check everyone out in the description below. And watch this video here to see the highest round on every COD Zombie map.